All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to try and tackle something, a challenge I think pretty much everyone faces is healthy snacking,
Mm-hmm.
especially on like a busy schedule. Like how do you do it? And we're going full on vegan for this one, using the Fork and Fry podcast as sort of our jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this as your crash course on becoming like, I don't know, a vegan snack ninja.
Yeah.
Fast, delicious, nutritious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. We're going to uncover all the secrets to whipping up plant-based snacks that, well, not only taste amazing,
Yeah.
but also keep you energized and satisfied, even on those like super hectic days that, we all have.
I'm already intrigued by this. I've tried to go vegan before.
Yeah.
But honestly, protein always, like, tripped me up. Is it even possible to get enough protein from snacks alone?
Absolutely.
Especially when, like, time's of the essence.
That's where smart snack choices come in. There are so many plant-based options that are just packed with protein, and we'll break down how to combine them for, like, optimal nutrition,
Yeah.
For example, did you know that just a half cup of roasted chickpeas has as much protein as an egg?
Whoa. I had no idea chickpeas were so, like, protein rich. That definitely changes my perspective on them.
Right.
But I'll admit, like, I struggle with meal prep sometimes. Like, what are some time-saving tips for making vegan snacking, like, actually work?
Yeah.
Especially, when I'm constantly on the go.
Yeah, so that's a really common hurdle. Fork and Fry had some great advice about that. They really highlighted no-cook options,
Okay.
like, chocolate chia seed pudding, which takes, like, literally 5 minutes to prep.
Oh, wow.
And it's so packed with nutrients and good-for-you fats, you can even make a big batch ahead of time and then, like, portion it out for grab-and-go convenience.
Okay, that's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Chia pudding's definitely going on my to-do list now. But I do have a tendency to get bored with the same snacks, like, over and over again. What are some other quick and easy vegan options that, won't make me feel deprived?
So variety is key, right? Fork and Fry suggests stocking your pantry with a mix of things like nuts, seeds, dried fruits, oats, quinoa, nut butters, coconut milk, spices.
Okay.
Think of these as like your building blocks for endless snack creations.
That's a pretty good set of building blocks, but I'm picturing like a pantry explosion.
Right.
With all those ingredients. Any tips for like keeping it organized and accessible?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Organization is like crucial,
Right.
especially for, us busy folks.
Yeah.
Fork and Fry recommends using clear containers, labeling everything clearly, and then storing like items together. That way, you can quickly grab what you need without rummaging through like a chaotic pantry.
Yeah. No, that's a brilliant idea. I'm all about efficiency in the kitchen.
Yes.
Speaking of efficiency, let's talk about no-bake recipes.
Okay.
Those are my heroes on days when, like, I can barely breathe, let alone cook.
Right. Fork and Fry had some mouthwatering suggestions.
Yep.
Remember those 5-minute energy balls?
Yes.
Those make 24 servings.
24 servings.
Perfect for the whole family, or if it's just you, you're
Yeah.
prepped for like the whole week.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of servings.
Yeah.
I'm sold. What else did they have?
Okay, so another highlight was instant smoothie bowls,
Okay.
which are so simple. Just blend frozen fruit with your choice of plant-based milk. Voila.
Boom.
A refreshing, nutrient-packed snack or even a meal, like in seconds.
I'm definitely a smoothie bowl enthusiast, but sometimes I find they're not, like, super filling. Any tips for making them a bit more substantial?
Totally. Adding protein powder or nut butter is a great way to boost the protein and healthy fats.
Okay.
Keeps you full longer. Fork and Fry also suggested like incorporating oats or chia seeds for added fiber and texture.
Oh, those are great additions.
Yeah.
I love the versatility of smoothie bowls. You can really customize them with different fruits, toppings, spices, you name it.
Totally.
But I'm curious about those quick fruit and nut bars. You mentioned those earlier.
Yes.
How do those come together?
Oh, they're surprisingly simple.
Okay.
You basically just pulse dates, nuts, and seeds in a food processor, press the mixture into a pan, and let it chill.
Okay.
Then you can slice it into bars for grab-and-go convenience.
I love the idea of having homemade snack bars.
Yeah.
Aw. It definitely beats the store-bought options.
Yeah.
All that added sugar and preservatives. Yuck.
Yeah.
But I'm always on the lookout for snacks that provide like sustained energy, especially on those super busy days where you're just going and going and going.
For sure.
What are some protein-packed vegan options that can kind of keep me fueled and focused?
Okay, so great question. Protein is like essential for sustained energy and satiety. And there are tons of plant-based sources that can deliver. You've already mentioned roasted chickpeas.
Mm-hmm.
A half a cup is around 7 grams of protein.
Okay.
And it's a great blank slate for spices, whatever you like.
I do love roasted chickpeas, but 7 grams, I mean, is that a lot? Doesn't sound like a lot.
Well, we talked about chia pudding, which can have up to 13 grams of protein per serving.
Oh, okay.
But for like the ultimate protein powerhouse, we have lupini beans.
Okay.
26 grams of protein per cup.
Whoa, 26 grams.
That's amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very familiar with lupini beans. What are they like?
So they have a slightly nutty, savory flavor.
Okay.
And a firm texture.
Okay.
And you can roast them, add them to salads. You can even eat them straight out of the can if you like.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Fork and Fry had a recipe for lupini bean hummus that sounded amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm definitely adding those to my shopping list.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got protein covered. But what about those inevitable sweet cravings? Can vegan snacks really satisfy like a sweet tooth?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fork and Fry provided some seriously tempting options.
Okay.
So for a truly decadent treat, they recommended dairy-free coconut caramel chocolate bars.
Okay.
Made with medjool dates
Ugh.
and coconut milk.
Dates in a chocolate bar. I've never heard of that.
I know.
That's interesting. I'm intrigued. But sometimes I do want something a little lighter on the sweet side.
Yeah.
What are some options that won't like send my blood sugar soaring?
Okay, they got you covered there too. So for a fruitier option, they suggested oven-dried grapes.
Okay.
Which really concentrates the sweetness.
Okay.
And it makes a chewy, satisfying snack.
Oven-dried grapes. I never would have thought of that.
I know, right?
Like, what a great way to use up leftover grapes and
Yeah.
transform them into a whole other snack.
Exactly.
Okay, that's smart. What else?
Another lighter option is apple cider vinegar-infused applesauce.
Apple cider vinegar in applesauce. I'm a little skeptical, but I'm willing to try anything once. What does the vinegar add?
It just adds a tangy twist. It balances out the sweetness of the applesauce.
Oh, okay.
It's a really simple way to elevate a classic snack and make it more interesting.
Okay. So we've explored the sweet treats, but what about savory cravings? Especially that like desire for a satisfying crunch.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need something salty and crispy to like get you through the afternoon.
It's a crunch factor.
Yes, exactly.
So Fork and Fry had some great advice for satisfying those cravings without resorting to like potato chips.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Chips are definitely my weakness.
Okay, so instead of reaching for those processed snacks, they recommend turning to roasted chickpeas and kale chips.
Those are great choices there. They're packed with flavor and nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
And way easier to make than I used to think.
Yeah, totally. And don't forget about the classic combo of carrot sticks and hummus or guacamole.
Oh, such a satisfying and kid-friendly choice.
Right.
Speaking of kids,
Mm.
I'd love to hear more about vegan snacks that are perfect for little ones.
Yeah, so Fork and Fry had some great suggestions for keeping those little tummies happy and healthy.
Okay.
They highlighted the classic pairing of apple slices with almond butter.
Yeah.
Which is, a winner for its simplicity and nutritional value.
Simple, delicious. I can imagine that's a hit with kids of all ages.
Absolutely. They also mentioned smoothie bowls, which are a fun and customizable way to get kids excited about fruits and veggies.
Okay, yeah.
Just blend up some frozen fruit with some plant-based milk.
Right.
Top it with their favorite toppings like granola, nuts, seeds, coconut flakes.
That's like an art project.
I know, it's so fun.
I love that. That's great.
And of course, those easy-to-handle energy balls, those are perfect for little hands.
Right.
They're packed with good-for-you ingredients, and they provide sustained energy for active kids.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a ton of great snack ideas now, but let's be realistic. Life gets busy. What are some storage tips for making sure we always have healthy snacks ready to go?
Yeah, that's a great point. So Fork and Fry emphasize the importance of meal prep and storage, especially for those hectic days. And they recommended using airtight containers to keep snacks fresh and organized.
Right. It makes total sense. It's all about setting yourself up for success.
Exactly. And don't forget about labeling those containers, too. It's a small step that can save so much time and frustration.
Yeah.
When you're looking for a specific snack.
Labeling is a game changer.
It is.
What about planning ahead? Any advice on that front?
Definitely. Fork and Fry encourage listeners to plan their snacks in advance. Think about your schedule for the week, make a list of, the snacks you want to have on hand. That way you're less likely to reach for unhealthy options when hunger strikes.
It's true. You got to be prepared. We've covered so much ground already.
I know, right?
From the benefits of vegan snacking to specific recipes and storage tips. Before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, is there anything else you think our listeners should keep in mind about getting started with quick and healthy vegan snacks?
Yeah, I would just say don't be afraid to get creative and experiment. Vegan snacking is all about finding what you enjoy and what works for your lifestyle.
I love that. It shouldn't feel restrictive or boring. It's about exploring new flavors, textures, and ingredients. We'll be right back after a short break to continue our exploration of vegan snacking. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. I'm ready to dive deeper into how to actually make vegan snacking a part of my daily routine.
Yeah.
We've covered some awesome recipes, but sometimes I feel like I get stuck in a rut
Oh, yeah.
with my snack choices.
I totally get it. Those well-intentioned grocery hauls
Yeah.
where you stock up on all the healthy ingredients and then you end up eating the same 3 things all week?
Exactly. So how do we break free from those snacking ruts and actually make those healthy choices, even on those crazy busy days where grabbing a bag of chips just seems so much easier?
Well, I think it's all about, planning.
Okay.
And having those go-to snacks ready when hunger strikes. Imagine you're rushing out the door in the morning.
Right.
What's a quick and easy vegan snack that you can just grab on the go?
I mean, based on what we've discussed, I'd probably reach for one of those 5-minute energy balls.
Uh-huh. Yes.
They're packed with protein and fiber, plus they're portable, and they taste amazing.
Perfect choice.
Right.
And here's a pro tip. Make a big batch on the weekend and store them in the fridge or freezer for easy access throughout the week. You can even mix up the flavors, by adding different nuts, seeds, or dried fruits.
That's a great tip. I'm all about setting myself up for success by having those healthy options readily available. Okay, so let's fast forward now. It's mid-morning, you're at work, and those hunger pangs start to hit. What's a go-to vegan snack that can tide me over until lunch?
Ooh, for that mid-morning energy slump, trail mix is a lifesaver.
Okay.
Super convenient, satisfies those crunchy cravings, provides sustained energy from the nuts and seeds.
I love trail mix, but sometimes it can be a bit messy.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm on the go. Any tips for keeping things tidy?
Totally. Portion out your trail mix into reusable snack bags or small containers.
Okay.
That way you can just grab a pre-portioned serving without having to dig into a big bag.
Smart move.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for ways to reduce, those snack time spills.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's the afternoon, and I'm starting to feel that dreaded energy dip. That moment when you just want to reach for something sugary and caffeinated to power through the rest of the day. What's a healthy vegan alternative that can help me beat that afternoon slump?
Okay, remember those instant smoothie bowls we were talking about?
Yes.
They're perfect for this. Just blend up some frozen fruit with plant-based milk.
Right.
And you have got yourself a refreshing and energizing snack packed with vitamins and antioxidants.
I love smoothie bowls, but sometimes I find they're not very filling. Any suggestions for making them a little bit more substantial?
Absolutely. Adding a scoop of plant-based protein powder or a dollop of nut butter can make a big difference. And don't forget about toppings.
Oh, right.
Chia seeds, hemp seeds, or even, a sprinkle of granola can add some extra protein, fiber, and texture.
Those are great additions. I also love that you can get creative with the toppings and just customize your smoothie bowl to your taste. But let's be real, sometimes those late night cravings hit. And I just want something comforting and satisfying. What are some good vegan options for those after dinner snack attacks?
Yeah, those late night cravings can be tough. So if you're in the mood for something sweet, a small piece of dark chocolate can actually be a good option. Just look for a brand with a high percentage of cacao, at least 70%.
Okay.
To get those antioxidant benefits.
I wouldn't have thought of dark chocolate as a healthy snack, but I'm definitely on board with that idea. What if I'm craving something salty or savory instead?
If you're craving salty, try a handful of roasted edamame.
Okay.
Or some air-popped popcorn seasoned with nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor.
Those are great ideas.
Yeah.
I love that you're highlighting options that are both satisfying and nutritious. Okay, so we've walked through a typical day and explored, vegan snack options for pretty much every occasion.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those like curveballs life throws our way?
Yes.
What happens when you're traveling or attending a social event, or just find yourself in a situation where your usual snacks just aren't available?
Right. So that's where being prepared and having a few backup plans can really come in handy.
Okay, give me some expert tips on navigating those tricky situations.
Okay, so first and foremost, whenever possible, pack your own snacks, especially when you're traveling.
Right.
That way, you have control over the ingredients and the portion sizes.
That makes total sense.
Hmm.
But sometimes it's just not possible.
Yeah.
What if I forget to pack snacks or I'm somewhere where I can't bring my own food?
Right. So in those cases, it's really helpful to kind of have a mental list
Okay.
of go-to snacks that you can usually find at like grocery stores or convenience stores.
Okay, like what? I'm curious to hear your suggestions.
Okay, well, most grocery stores carry a variety of fruits and vegetables. So you could always grab an apple, a banana, or a bag of baby carrots.
Those are classic staples, but sometimes I want something a little bit more exciting than just, plain fruits and veggies.
I hear you. So a lot of convenience stores now carry pre-packaged trail mix, nuts,
Okay.
or even dried fruit. And you might be surprised to find hummus and veggie cups,
Really?
or even pre-cut fruit salads at some gas stations.
Whoa, I wouldn't have thought to look for those at a gas station, but that's great to know. What about situations where I don't have access to a store at all?
Hmm.
Like say I'm at a social event or a meeting and those snack cravings hit. What are my options then?
So this is where those portable snacks we talked about earlier can really shine.
Okay.
You know, those energy balls or homemade fruit and nut bars, those are perfect for stashing in your bag for emergencies.
Oh, I love the idea of having like a snack emergency kit
Yes.
on hand, for those unexpected situations. But what if I'm at a restaurant and there aren't any like vegan friendly options on the menu?
And don't be afraid to ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most
restaurants are happy to accommodate dietary restrictions. You can often request a simple salad with no cheese or croutons,
Right.
or even a side of steamed vegetables.
That's a good point. It's all about being resourceful and advocating for your needs. We've talked a lot about like practical tips for vegan snacking,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's also a mental component to it.
Yeah.
How do we shift our mindset to make healthy snacking like a sustainable part of our lives?
Yeah.
Rather than just another thing on our to-do list.
I think you're absolutely right. It's not just about the food itself. It's
Mhm.
about our relationship with food and how we approach snacking.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the mindset of healthy snacking.
So first and foremost, it's important to tune in to your hunger cues. We often eat out of boredom, stress, or habit
Right.
rather than actual hunger. So before you reach for a snack, take
Mhm.
a moment to pause
Yeah.
and just ask yourself, am I truly hungry or am I just feeling something else?
That's such a simple but powerful question. It really helps us become more mindful of our eating habits. But sometimes even when I'm physically hungry, I end up making like unhealthy choices.
Yeah.
So how can we make sure we're reaching for nourishing snacks that fuel our bodies rather than just like satisfying a craving?
I think that's where planning and preparation come in again.
Okay. Yeah.
Having those healthy snacks readily available, it makes it so much easier to make good choices when hunger strikes.
Yeah, that
Oh,
makes
def-
sense.
uh,
But I also think there's a tendency to view snacks as a reward or a treat,
oh, yeah.
which can lead to feelings of guilt or deprivation, if
Hmm.
we're trying to be healthy. So how can we shift that perspective and view snacks as a positive part of a balanced diet?
It's all about reframing our thinking. Instead of viewing snacks as something we should or shouldn't have, try to think of them as an opportunity to nourish your body with nutrients. Choose snacks that provide energy, sustain you between meals,
Right.
and contribute to your overall well-being.
I love that reframing. It takes away the guilt and it empowers us to make choices that align with our health goals.
Right.
But I'll be honest, sometimes I feel overwhelmed by all the information out there about
Yeah.
healthy eating. It's hard to know what to believe and how to make it work for my own life.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of conflicting information out there,
Right.
which can be confusing, but I think the key is to find what works for you, your body, and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in like restrictive diets or fads.
Right. Right. That's such an important reminder. It's about finding a sustainable approach
Exactly.
that you can stick with for the long haul. But
Yes.
I think it's also important to acknowledge that making changes to our eating habits can be challenging,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, for sure.
So what are some tips for staying motivated and on track,
Mhm.
especially when those old cravings or habits creep back in?
Well, it's definitely a journey, not a destination. And it's okay to have slip-ups along the way, you
Right.
know? The important thing is to focus on progress, not perfection. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your successes, and don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it.
Those are those are great words of wisdom. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this episode,
Yeah.
from practical tips to mindset strategies.
Hmm.
But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, is there anything else you want our listeners to understand about making vegan snacking a sustainable part of their life?
Um, yeah. I think, one last thing to remember is that you don't have to do this alone.
Okay.
There's so many resources available,
Yeah.
from cookbooks and websites to
Yeah.
registered dietitians and support groups.
That's a great point. There's a whole community of people out there who are passionate about plant-based eating,
Totally.
and they're a wealth of knowledge and support. We'll be right back after a short break to wrap up our deep dive into vegan snacking. Stay tuned. And we are back for the final part of our vegan snacking deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot, from pantry staples and all the way to mindset shifts.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of curious how we can tailor these strategies to different lifestyles and dietary needs.
Yeah, that's a great point. Vegan snacking isn't one size fits all.
Right, exactly.
So let's start by talking about athletes
Okay.
who, they have some pretty unique nutritional needs, especially when it comes to fueling their workouts and recovering properly.
Exactly. What are some go-to vegan snacks that can help athletes perform their best and recover quickly?
Well, for a pre-workout energy boost, you can't go wrong with the smoothie made with plant-based protein powder, a banana, and a handful of spinach.
Okay.
It's packed with nutrients and
Mhm.
it's easily digestible, so it won't weigh you down during your workout.
I love that idea. But what about after a tough workout? What are some vegan snacks that can help athletes replenish their energy stores and repair their muscles?
So for post-workout recovery, you want a snack that combines protein and carbohydrates.
Okay.
A simple and effective option is a rice cake topped with almond butter and sliced banana.
Oh.
The rice cake provides those quick digesting carbs, while the almond butter delivers protein for muscle repair.
That sounds delicious and easy to put together.
Yeah.
But what about athletes who are watching their calorie intake?
Mhm.
Are there any lower calorie vegan snacks that can still provide the nutrients they need?
Absolutely. Edamame is a great choice. It's packed with protein and fiber, and it's relatively low in calories.
Okay.
Roasted chickpeas or a handful of almonds are also great options for a satisfying, nutrient-dense snack that won't derail your calorie goals.
Those are all excellent suggestions.
Hmm.
Now let's kind of shift gears and talk about people with food sensitivities or allergies.
Sure.
I mean, veganism can be a great option for those with dietary restrictions, but it's important to be mindful of potential allergens, even in vegan snacks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For example, nuts are a common allergen, and many vegan snacks contain nuts. So it's really crucial to read labels carefully and make sure you're choosing snacks that are safe for you or anyone you're sharing with.
That's such an important reminder. It's easy to assume that all vegan options are safe for people with allergies, but that's definitely not the case. What about gluten sensitivities? Are there any specific things to keep in mind when choosing vegan snacks for someone who's gluten-free?
Yes. So it's a common misconception that vegan automatically means gluten-free, but that's not always true. Some vegan snacks might contain wheat, barley, or rye, so it's crucial to look for certified gluten-free options just to be on the safe side.
Okay. We've covered athletes and those with dietary restrictions, but what about families with young children?
Yeah.
I imagine it can be challenging to find vegan snacks that picky eaters will actually enjoy.
It definitely takes some creativity,
Why?
but it's absolutely possible. The key is to keep things fun, colorful, and flavorful. And remember, it's okay to start with like familiar favorites and gradually introduce new things.
Give us some ideas. What are some kid-approved vegan snacks that are both, healthy and delicious?
Well, you can't go wrong with apple slices and almond butter. It's a classic for a reason. It's simple, nutritious, and most kids love that combination of sweet and savory flavors.
That's a winner in my book. What about something a little more, I don't know, exciting or adventurous for those kids who are always up for trying new things?
Smoothie bowls are a great option. They're fun to make, and kids can get involved by choosing their favorite toppings.
Yeah,
Think like colorful fruits, granola, nuts, seeds. The possibilities are really endless.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's a great way to make healthy eating like fun and interactive.
you're right.
What about snacks for those on the go moments?
Those energy balls that we talked about earlier,
Mhm.
those are perfect for little hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're bite-sized, easy to hold, and they travel well. Plus, you can involve your kids in the process of making them,
Yeah.
which makes snack time even more enjoyable.
That's awesome. Okay, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. Any final thoughts on how to make vegan snacking a sustainable and enjoyable part of our lives?
Um, I think the most important thing is to find what works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to healthy eating, and that's especially true for snacking. So experiment with different recipes, explore new ingredients, and don't be afraid to get creative.
I love that. It's all about finding what you enjoy and what fits into your lifestyle. But it's also important to remember that healthy eating is a journey, not a destination.
Mhm.
You know, there will be times when you make choices that aren't perfectly aligned with your goals, and that's okay.
Exactly. Don't beat yourself up over occasional slip-ups. Focus on progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And remember to enjoy the process. Vegan snacking can be delicious, fun, and incredibly rewarding.
I couldn't agree more. I think we've given our listeners a great starting point for exploring the world of vegan snacks. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.